How you doing, everyone? We're in for our last update of the round. We're going to be going through a few of the top teams and how they fared in round 17, so the amount of players they had and scores, and then go through that last game with the Sharks and the Warriors there. So we start with Riley. He actually had a really good round 17. I suppose that's why he's sitting on at number one on the ladder, but 507 points. So that included having, what do we have, 9 players there, which is really, really solid. And that's why he did really well. And that's some good management there. And if you're looking at the bench, it's still filled with really, really high level strong players. The cheapest guy on the bench is 589. So they've got a really nice team value. They're going to be in a really good place. Coming into the rest of the season. I imagine they don't have too many trades left. Otherwise, they would have moved on Cleary. That is my guess. Anyone in their position that would have had sort of 10, 11, 12 trades would have definitely got rid of Cleary just to stay ahead of the pack. So keep an eye out on that one. See how that plays out. They might not have too many trades left, but they do have a super strong side heading into the final bunch of rounds. So that's that there. We move on to number 2, and they had a few less players. So 387 was the score. Wade Egan really carrying the squad there. Fell into the Toby Rudolph trap there, I'd say, with that one, which is interesting. Sitting there with Walker still, so held on to Walker this whole time. And you look at their bench there, and also really strong. Sitting with Fisher Harris and Peachy, a couple of guys we're not too sure about in their scoring. Gerard Beale. But the rest of it's really strong. Probably a few trades that still need to be made in this one, but should be able to keep a decent spot in the ladder. Just depending on how many trades they've got going forward. Move on to Sheldon, number 3, so 316 points. So see here, guys, that not everyone had a large amount of players. This person only had 5, so decent effort to still be sitting number 3, but sitting there with guys like Fafita, DCE, Teddy. There's a few guys here that are probably on the fringe, like guys like Leilua and Madison, who I have personally got Crichton as a kind of a cover sort of player. Team doesn't look. I think that the number 1 team definitely looks stronger at this stage. Is ahead by a bit over 100 points, which makes sense as well. Let's get through the top five guys. When we're sitting with 448 for the Brawlers, and a few different players in this squad, a few alternates in Lawton, Jackson, Fanua Blake, DCE as well. Tommy Dearden brought them in, so that was interesting with Tabuai Fido as well. Would have missed out on that one, unfortunately, with the bring into Origin. But plenty of really high level strong players. Guys like Ben Hunt, Hughes, DCE, all guys that most of us will be looking to pick up in the next few weeks. They've already got in their squad and held on to Trbojevic and stuff like that. So yeah, in a good position. But again, just I'm seeing a lot of people at the moment that just. I think someone said on Facebook that they're making their last 2 trades, and they were ranked 300. So last 2 trades right now, anyone in the top 1,000 or so, which has a fair few trades remaining, anything 6, 7, 8 plus, will be passing them for sure, just with the amount of injuries and suspensions. I don't think you can hold a good rank having no trades for the last, 8 rounds. So that's that there. And our last one for this analysis, we got plenty in this team. So 723 in round 17. So this is someone that's a little bit different, and they went against the grain and played, what have we got here, 7, 8, 10 players, 11 players, 12 players there, with a few guys that are probably fringe keepers, and guys like Reynolds, Corey, Matt Lodge, Egan's sort of been proving everyone wrong, especially me, but guys like Tavanga, who have a decent role over the next couple of weeks, but still plenty of strong players on the bench as well, so really interesting to see how this person's going to go over the next bunch, and if they really traded heavy into round 17 and they're going to run out of trades or not. So that's an interesting one there for Matty K. And we'll move on to analysing the Warriors Sharks game, but just a shout out to our Cowboys supporter in number 6 there with Daniel D. So Sharks and the Warriors. So interesting game. I spoke about Wade Egan a fair bit, and he's one that's topping our list at the moment with 62 points again and 59 tackles. He just keeps doing it at the moment. Making money hand over fist at this stage, was someone that kind of made a little bit at the start, then hit a bit of a sore point in the middle of the season there where he wasn't scoring too well, and then has really picked up over the last sort of 3 to 5 weeks there, really dominating either with tries, try assists, big tackle counts, and just does it again with 59 tackles. So you'd imagine with someone like Joe Harris out of the lineup, that Egan has to do a fair bit more work through the middle there. There's more tackles to go around. And someone has to pick up the slack, and Tavanga obviously made 46 as well. And this is kind of a game where the Sharks had a fair bit of ball, which allowed these two big guys in the middle to make plenty of tackles. And when you see like someone like Eli Katoa making 38 on the edge there, then you can understand, and Bailey Siren on the other edge, you can understand that they are they were doing a fair bit of tackling. So that's him there. A few people will still be looking to pick him up over the next bunch of weeks. He's getting fairly pricey now, 664. So I'd be watching out. I'd be picking someone like Hunt over him. Obviously a bit more expensive, but has the dual position and I think will score better over the course of the season. So that's that. Roger was 61, so really did a great job for us. Those people like myself who are holding on to him picks up another 21k in price rises and 61 points with a line break and a try, 7 tackle breaks, 160 meters. So just a really solid game all round. Only 2 in the negatives there. We can't really complain with that if you are an RTS holder. This means that you don't have to trade him out straight away, but you can if you want to. Like his break even is going to be lower now, so you don't have to worry about him losing too much cash right this second. But he's still going to be playing on the wing. You might need to stick it out and play him this week if something happens with the COVID bubble, or there could be a few random guys not playing in 18 or 19, restings for Origin guys. So Roger might have to stay in our teams this week, but I think he's definitely a trade out over the next bunch of weeks. Shawnee O'Sullivan with 60 points there was really solid with a try assist, 29 tackles, a bunch of kick meters and some running meters for some a couple of turnover tackles as well. I wouldn't be expecting this on a regular basis. Obviously, the role was split between him and Nikarima. Yeah, so I don't think it'll be happening on a regular basis. So I wouldn't be touching him at that 500k price point, but I think some people will. Reece Walsh was 607k now, another 31k in the bank, 59 points for a try, a couple of goals, which is interesting with Cody not kicking, but a try saver as well. 4 tackle breaks, 260 kick meters is awesome if you own him, like most people do. But you don't have to spend too much time on Walsh. He's one of the guys that everyone owns. A few people own Tolman at the moment, which is interesting. 58 points for his 75 minutes, just big minutes in the middle, which is awesome for anyone who's holding on to him. Has lost a fair bit of money over the course of the season, just with how good he averaged last year. But he's been having a few of these types of games this year where he gets those big minutes and a big score. So that's that. A few people would have been interested in Tavanga over the last 2 weeks, especially with Tohu going down injured and seeing that he was going to have a bigger role in the middle, plenty more tackles, a little bit more running. No surprise to see him get 55 and do well. Not much else to say. I don't think he's a pickup because it's only going to be a few more weeks. But what do you know? What can I say? Some people will get him, some won't. Eli Katoa been really strong in the last couple of weeks, and you can see he's lost 81k. It was about 126 before this week when he gained 45, but just hasn't been himself all year. In the last 2 games, he's really stepped up and played so much better, and obviously got a try 2 weeks ago and 55 points this time was really, really good. So yeah, can't complain with that score, and I wouldn't be picking him up either. But that's that. If you're looking at SJ, most people's captain this week with 54, had 5 forced dropouts, which was great. 420 kick meters, 90 run meters, which was nice. Just didn't do a lot else. It was weird that he lost the goal kicking. I don't know if he's had a little bit of an issue with his foot. Early on in the game, Trindle was kicking in general play a couple of times and then took over the goals. And I was like, you're kidding me. As soon as I captained him, he's not getting the goal kicks and stuff like that. But he probably missed out on 6 to 8 points there in goal kicks. We'll have to see what happens with that going forward. But for him to not really do much, no real attacking stats, to still get 54 is really strong. And we're only hoping for him to be a 55 average player. So play on with that one. Fanua Blake with 52 in his 54 minutes. So again, not too much on the attacking stats side. 1 tackle break, 2 offloads. 33 tackles, 166 meters. You can't really complain for someone at a really cheap price. I think you've got a steal there at 555k for someone who's probably going to average in the low 50s. So well done if you did that. There's a small temptation to pick him up as a keeper going into the rest of the year. If you're someone that's lacking trades and lacking some cash in the bank, if you held on to Cleary or something like that, then maybe you'd look to go for someone like Adam Fanua Blake at 555. But if we're looking at Braden Trindle, a little bit interesting this one, especially now he's got the goal kicking. He's not going to be doing too much kicking in general play. Obviously, he's going to get trying to get a lot of his points through tackling and any attacking stats. So he got a try assist and a try for this one for 49 points. Is he an option? I personally don't think so. There's a chance that when Moylan comes back, he moves straight into that 6 role. So I'd be wary of that one. Rocco Berry, similar thing. Could you use him as a cash out? Yeah, possibly, but he's 20k overpriced now, like over basement price, and had a pretty awesome game, to be fair. 26 tackles in the centers is really nice for your center there in the wing fullback position in fantasy. But would you pick him up? I don't think so. Same with Sirinen. Matty Lodge, a few people decided to pick up. Yes, did make a little bit of cash, but 41 in his 58 minutes. You're really happy with the minutes, but just didn't do too much. He had 3 penalties, 3 missed tackles there. So you can say that will definitely improve over the next few weeks. But it's good to see him in new colours and still losing, unfortunately, for him. But yeah, that was that. How good was the Braden Hamlin Ueli try celebration? My roommate lost his shit when he thought he'd actually punched him. So yeah, they did a really good job. He was actually really close to him. So that was a fun one to watch. I haven't seen that before. But yeah, scored okay, 40 and got it, 40 in his 24 minutes. I don't know if it's just because he's coming back from injury. I feel like he deserved a few extra minutes. Was one of their best last year. Obviously, you can see he's lost a fair bit of cash because he's been playing lower minutes. But yeah, I like to see him start playing higher minutes there. Brayley with a lower score, trying to be like his brother, getting a try assist and still getting 39 in 80 minutes, not so good. Ramian with 38, so very solid game for someone. Yeah, as we said in centers, if you can have 38 in a game where you don't really do too much, you're doing pretty well. So we'll take that. And move on to next week. Who else we got? Wilton. A few people were talking about. Just an awkward price. Played the 80 minutes, just didn't do too much. So you expect that to be a low score for him in an 80-minute effort. If we're moving on to Ronaldo, went off with the HIA early on in the game and then came back at halftime, or close to it, I can't remember. But 34 points, so did okay. 4 offloads, 3 tackle breaks. You can't complain with that. But yeah, made a little bit of cash and he's bottoming out. He's evening out in his price now, so he shouldn't be gaining too much more unless he has a few more bigger games. But at 509k, I said he's not going to be a keeper. If you picked him up a bunch of weeks ago, you've made a fair bit of cash with him, but might be time to look to move him on to a Trbojevic or a Ponga or any of these types of guys in round 18 and 19. Watani Zelezniak with a new team. God, he runs the ball hard back, doesn't he? Not much else to say on that one. Nikorima with 20. So if you've got him, he's now going to start burning a fair bit of cash. Unfortunately, it looks like O'Sullivan took over a little bit, but maybe Nikorima having some issue with his foot or his leg because he wasn't kicking goals either. So that's a real dangerous one. Yeah, probably have to see what happens over the next few weeks with him. But yeah, very, very frustrating if you own him. And anyone else, Talakai, would have been a pretty terrible decision if you decided to pick him up. But that's about all, guys, with the wrap for the round. We'll go through the people squad and how we went in the next video and also through my team following that. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. We'll catch you next one. Bye-bye.